You're listening to the She's Crafty podcast, a comedy and craft beer podcast taped in San Antonio, Texas, home of the Alamo, breakfast tacos, and the best craft beer in the Lone Star State.
Shut up and sit down.
Okay, hello and welcome to the season premiere of the She's Crafty podcast, season 3, which is super exciting. I'm back after maternity leave. Probably going to get super drunk on these 3 little taster glasses, so hope you guys are ready to clean up the puke. All right, so we're at the Hoppy Monk, our home away from home, and I am with the beautiful authors of the Trappist Beer Travels book. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello. I'm going to just go down the table, introduce yourselves, and tell us a little bit about how you contributed to the book.
Cool. My name's Caroline Wallace. I'm one of the co-authors of the book, and I also did a lot of the photography in the book.
Awesome.
My name is Sarah Wood. I'm a co-author of the book. I did not do most of the photography. However, I was our main interviewer, chatter, storyteller.
Nice.
Timekeeper.
Which is important. Yeah.
My name's Jessica Deal, and I am also a co-author, wrote a little less, and did the cover design and illustrations for each chapter.
Awesome. So you guys started with this awesome beer blog, right? bitchbeer.org.
Yes.
Is that how you guys started working together, or did you have another project before that?
Yeah, Bitch Beer started shortly after a lot of us graduated college. At one point, we had 7 co-founders.
Okay.
And a lot of us had written on the newspaper at St. Edward's University together.
Okay.
So we were good Catholic schoolgirls. Getting back to this book, it really comes full circle.
Yeah, I like that.
And, so we started this, as women who loved craft beer and were
Right.
just starting to really get into it and weren't seeing, this was back in 2012, weren't seeing as much of a space, for us there. We
Right.
decided to start this blog, Bitch Beer, that kind of took that idea of a bitch beer, light, fruity beer for girls, and flipped it on its head of if bitch beer is for girls, then all beer is bitch beer.
I like
That's kinda how
that.
I started,
I like it a lot. So then that evolves into you guys starting to write some books, right? And I know you have there's another book other than this one.
Yep.
The Austin beer book, right?
Yes, we have a book all about Austin, the Austin craft beer revolution, starting back in 1860 when
Oh, nice.
German immigrants were coming into Texas
Yeah.
and starting to brew here as a practice all the way through modern day. And we published in 2013. We captured every brewery that was open in Austin at the time. That was our first long format debut, and it was us. Oh man, just such an exciting time for us, really.
Yeah?
And Jessica started writing with us shortly after the book came out.
Okay.
So it was super exciting to get to write a book with her this
Yeah.
time and go around. Yeah.
Awesome. So you guys decided to do this Trappist Beer Travels book. What inspired you to
To do
go
it,
around and do it? Yeah.
drinking.
Always.
All the beer. Yeah.
Well, Jessica, do you want to tell this?
Yes, that's an embarrassing story earlier today.
Embarrassing story.
Well, I take unofficial credit because I just have this embarrassing story where we were all supposed to go to a movie and I booked tickets for the wrong day.
Because
Okay.
we were drinking.
Because
Oh, of course. Okay.
I was trying to use my phone. It was a
Yeah.
whole
I got pregnant that
ordeal.
way. So that's
Accidents
So you
happen.
get
yeah.
it.
Whoops. Wrong tickets. Yeah.
Wrong ticket.
Yeah, so instead of seeing a movie, we sat at a bar and started drinking and kind of came up with this idea. We just, I don't know, it's like thinking of the wildest possible thing we could ever do and somehow made it happen.
Yeah, it was very much like
It was a little more romantic than that. Like, Sarah can probably take this one.
yeah, it was
It
kind
involved
of
a writer's
daring each
retreat.
other of all the crazy things we could do. Like,
Yeah.
we should go vacation for an extended amount of time in Europe.
Yeah, a little bit
Yeah,
of-
while we're there, we should go see every Trappist monastery. We should.
I
see
love
where
how
they're
that's
brewing
the
beer.
crazy adventure that you guys
Right.
are like, let's go hang out with monks. How crazy can we get?
We were so crazy. We needed a calming presence.
Yeah.
I think they're just
Drain us
they're so mysterious, and it's just not a thing that we know a lot about over here, and
Yeah.
it's like just a totally different way of life. And
Yeah, but there's so much renown around those beers. You know, like
Yeah.
Chimay is giant, and they put so many beers on the shelves. West Valetrian, people claw to get at that beer, but you know relatively little about most people know relatively little about the monks that brew them. So that
Right.
paradox was really interesting and really sort of captivated us. So shortly after that day, we sobered up and we said, no, this is something we actually should pursue. So we put together a pitch, sent that out to a couple of publishers, just to see if they were interested.
Just spitballing.
Yeah, see what stuck.
yeah,
you know?
I
If
like
they told
it.
us it was crazy, then it was crazy. Yeah, we thought so too. But
Yeah.
that luckily was not the case. We heard back from Schiffer Publishing on my birthday, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good birthday gift. And we signed a contract shortly thereafter, and then that kind of set all of the planning ground, set all the plans in motion.
Yeah. So then we started emailing monks.
What's that like? What are those emails like?
The most polite,
Yeah.
respectful, but also
Yeah.
brief, knowing that they could be speaking a variety of different languages and receiving these
Right.
emails. But we really struggle with this idea of, do we get a publisher first so that when we approach the monks, they know that we're legit and
Right.
we come and this is a real book? Or
Right.
do we get permission from the monks to get interviews and tours first, but then we go to the publisher? They know we really have this access. We ultimately decided that we didn't want to waste the monks' time, and that even if we couldn't get these interviews, at least we could go and write the book from the perspective of, here's what the public can see and do here. Even if
Right.
you can't tour the brewery, you can at least go experience the cafe and try the beers, or go on a tour of
Right.
a monastic museum at some of these places. So we were really lucky that once we started emailing monks, we got connected with the International Trappist Association,
Okay.
and they were really integral to to helping us facilitate that dialogue with all the monks. And eventually we got all 11 authentic Trappist monastery breweries on board.
That's
to
exciting.
visit,
I bet
do
that was an
interviews.
exciting day.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
know that you
Sort
had
of
everybody
slowly.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we actually came up with the idea, it was 2014, so Tre Fontana had not been certified yet as an authentic Trappist
Okay.
brewery. So they surprised us in the end, coming online, like, okay, now we need to make a trip to Rome.
So piggybacking off of that, let's inform our listeners, what is an authentic Trappist brewery?
Yeah. So to be considered an authentic Trappist brewery, you have to meet 3 criteria.
Okay.
So the first is that the beers have to be brewed inside the walls of a Trappist monastery.
Okay.
The brewing has to be done either by the monks or under supervision of the monks.
Okay.
So, they can have layman employees or, secular staff, but the monk's still the head of the brewery and quality control in a lot of cases. And then the last thing is that the profits go back to sustain the needs of the monastery. So
Okay.
think about the communities, it could be that 50 or 100 people live at some of these places, sometimes far less, but, it takes a lot, and the old historical buildings that might have to get historical commission approval before they can, really be renovated. Those repairs and, things cost a lot of money.
Right.
So that's really the purpose of these breweries is to sustain the monasteries.
Okay.
And any extra profits go back to support the community, charitable causes. They're not in the profit-making business.
Right. So I can only imagine that all of this beer traveling led you on a great adventure, right? Do you guys have any
It was pretty wild.
great stories, wild stories from the road that you might want to share?
I mean, the monks weren't as wild as one would think.
Or, I don't know what one would think, but
I know.
Maybe wilder than we did think,
Probably a little wilder than we did think.
just because they actually talked to us.
True.
We didn't know what to
That in
expect.
itself was pretty wild.
Did you take somebody to translate with you, or you
Yeah,
guys just kind of winging it?
So we knew we needed some interpreters. Some abbeys, the monks we spoke with, felt confident they could conduct conduct the interviews in English better than others.
Okay.
So we ended up with interpreters for most of them, and that ranged from really needing a full-on interpreter to just someone who was there to help with a few untranslatable, key phrases or so.
Right.
But we met one of our interpreters on Beer Advocate,
Nice.
a former biker who was just a lover of American craft
Okay.
beer, and we brought him
Okay.
a case of imperial stouts and IPAs in
Nice.
exchange for helping us out. And then a lot of other interpreters were English students at university.
Okay.
One English professor at a university. So
We posted essentially like wanted ads and broken translations
Yeah.
on the university websites because school, it was the summertime, so
Right.
most of their terms had just ended, and so they were looking for who wouldn't want to spend a day at a brewery that
Yeah.
you can't get access to otherwise.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
awesome.
yeah, we did. Every abbey was a really unique experience. So we visited all 11. I guess I should say for people who aren't familiar with where all the breweries are, there's 6 in Belgium.
Okay.
2 in the Netherlands,
Okay.
1 in Austria, and then 1 in Italy.
Okay.
And then the last one is Spencer outside of Boston, Massachusetts. So
Okay.
It was really, a variety of things we experienced along the way. Over Chimay, we got to go up into a small plane and take aerial photos for the book. So that was a
Nice.
super cool experience.
Yeah.
We spent the night at Rochefort in the guest house, 2 nights actually.
Wow.
We got to attend a service there and hear the monks sing, and
Yep.
that was
I
a
like
cool
it.
experience.
Was there any crankiness between the three of you? Did you have any? I mean, I've traveled with women before. I'm just saying, it's a lot of togetherness.
Yeah, I think
was a
by
lot
the
of
end of the
together.
trip, we were like
A little cranky.
ready to.
a lot
just
of
ready to
long,
have our own
awkward
bed.
silences.
Yeah, I mean,
It mostly was great.
Yeah. So
mostly
you guys
great,
did
yes.
this all in one? It was one trip, or did you kind of divide it up?
Yeah, we took one trip, about a month-long trip to Europe, and of
Okay.
course we put in some, beer geek bucket list items that were non-Trappist, like we went to Cantillon, and we went to Copenhagen and went to
Nice.
War Pigs,
Yeah.
Mickler's, and Three Floyd's Brew Pub. So we did some other cool things,
Yeah.
but for the most part, this was to visit all 11 Trappist breweries,
Okay.
and
I like it.
road trip it.
Nice. So you guys did you just got into a car and decided to just
Yep.
you just did it?
We rented a car in Berlin, and I got 4 speeding tickets.
What?
Oh, like camera found out after the
apparently
fact.
not all of
You
Germany is the
hot
Autobahn.
ride. Hot
The
ride.
Autobahn is an addictive thing.
We also got a
I will
free
tell you that.
upgrade
Yeah.
to a BMW, and like,
Ooh.
oh my
Yeah,
god!
so we were
Uh,
cruising around in a BMW.
Styling.
Talk about wild. It was
That sounds like just hair in the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything but that Thelma and Louise ending.
I like it.
That's
Wow.
a really cheesy road trip song. Sarah's a wonderful singer, so she.
Oh, a little road trip karaoke.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Do some for us now.
Yes.
Yeah, do a little.
I like it. I like
do
it.
so
Any
good.
romance over there? No.
No, we were all coupled up when we
Nah.
went.
Oh, okay.
that's
Oh, you
true.
took people with you,
We were
No, we just had.
but you just
one.
had people at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
we were as celibate as the monks.
Okay. Well, want. All right.
I really wanted some like steamy romance
Right,
story,
yeah.
but
Yeah, that'd be.
But we needed
Didn't
somebody to
pan
take
out.
care of our pets while we were away.
I hear
burn
ya.
that bridge.
It felt like a romantic comedy waiting to be
Right?
written.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Eat, Pray, Love was already taken.
Well,
so
that's
what
true.
Yeah, we
we
did
gonna
have
do?
an ongoing joke we didn't know what we were going to call the book yet while we took the trip, so we kept joking that we would call it Drink, Pray, Love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
for sure.
Yep.
That'd been awesome. So along the way, were there any surprises or things that you saw that was culturally different than the States that you were really excited to talk about in the book? Or
Absolutely. I mean, really, there was so much that we experienced that wasn't relative to the book. I mean,
Yeah.
we did a very thorough tour of beer culture in Europe in general, and I think there's some very interesting differences in just the amount of experimentation that you're seeing in American breweries
right?
that you don't necessarily see in a lot of European breweries. So you talk to European beer drinkers, and they say they have this admiration for the amount of just different styles that we do. And I thought
Yeah.
that was a really interesting thing that we kind of take for granted here, you know? Like, of course my brewery has a Belgian ale, and then
Right.
also an IPA and a Saison and all of these different beautiful things going on. But that's just not the case in a lot of places there. They stick to the styles that work for the regions that they live in. And I mean, that
Right.
makes sense. They've been brewing those for centuries. That was always really interesting to me.
Yeah. One fun thing was a lot of the monks and the other people we met at the monasteries would call instead of craft beers, they call them special beers.
Yeah.
I think of Trappist beer now. I think of
that.
special beers.
Oh, that's nice.
we did a lot of translation hectoliters. To,
Yeah,
like, how many
hectoliters to
is
barrels.
that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would say, like, X million hectoliters. We'll
Yeah.
never get there. It's like, I don't know how much that is.
Oh,
That sounds like a
Awesome.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Millions.
translate that later and understand
Yeah.
what the scale of what you're talking about.
That's awesome. So, what part of the book are you guys the most proud of?
Ooh. Does everyone have their
We
own?
may all
I don't
have
know.
our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else go
Let's
first.
just go down the line and see.
Jessica, go ahead. You have the easy one.
Do I?
Yes. I'm the part that I'm most proud of. I'm going to skip over her. If you're not going to say it, I'm going to say it.
Okay.
I am. I'm incredibly proud of the look of the book, and I mean, Jessica again did all of the illustration inside and the cover, which it just. I mean, it's stunning,
is-
and I'm cool to say it because I didn't do
gorgeous.
it.
Because,
It's beautiful.
You're not bragging, but
Yeah.
Inside and out. It is
you.
a
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful
Well,
book.
we were really lucky in that. I mean, I was in another book that Schiffer put out about movie posters.
Okay.
So, like, on our call, we got to bring that up, which was kind of cool. And we didn't, like, I had no idea how open they would be to letting us do the design because they have in-house designers.
Mm-hmm.
So we just, like, pushed as far as we could, and they kept letting us do it.
Yep.
So
Perfect.
up to the point where they even asked me if I wanted to lay out the entire book. And
Oh,
I was
nice.
like, yeah, I don't have time for that. But we did give a pretty detailed style guide that, like, I worked on with Sarah, too, and we pressed for a linen cover with embossing and gold or copper inlays, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
It
It's
is
a beautiful
beautiful.
book, so really happy with it.
Yeah. Besides, I just think overall, maybe it's not a favorite part of the book, but a favorite aspect of the book was just being trusted to tell these stories. You know, I mean, we did interviews at every abbey we went to, long, multi-hour interviews most of the time, and we really wanted to. I think there was part of us that wanted to write this book to begin with. You know, we had this reverence already. We respected these monks so much. We had so much respect for these beers. But before we wrote this book, part of it was really going to be our stories of visiting them all, too. And the more we really got into writing it, it's like our stories felt silly in comparison, you know?
Yeah.
So it really focused on, it was really an honor to be trusted telling the history of some of these places that have, you know, literally been around 1,000 years in some form or another. So it was just great to be trusted to tell their stories.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, there's a little bit of us in there,
Yeah.
but yeah,
There's some
some
puns. There's
setting.
some scene setting. Yeah.
I really love that it's like a history / tour guide
Yeah.
kind of book, which makes it fun to read because it's not just, you know,
dry.
facts. Yeah. It's really fun to read, and the pictures are beautiful, and it really takes you on a journey as you're going through the book. So you guys did a really, really great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a once in a
Pat on the back, ladies, for getting published. That's really awesome. And you guys
published author to your resume. It's not a bad.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, and it's so gorgeous that it's nothing to sneeze at, for sure.
Yeah, that's just your new resume. You know, just
Yeah,
don't even
forever.
show them a resume. Just bring them the
Yeah,
book.
just bring the book.
Whatever
and
you
some
need me
beer.
to do, obviously I'll do it.
Just beer in the book. That's all you need. So did you guys, did you find that you loved some beers more than others, and were there any that were particularly special to you?
There wasn't a damn one I didn't like, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, sure.
But
They know what they're doing.
there were a few. So we had tried almost all the Trappist beers before going on this trip, but there
All
were
the ones that were available
exactly. So there was one of the huge things when we got to go to Tre Fontana in Rome. The newest Trappist brewery was their beer's only available in Italy. So
Okay.
you know, we hadn't tried it. No one we knew had tried it, and
Yeah.
they brew a really special beer. It's a triple, but they've been growing eucalyptus on the property there for many years, hundreds of years.
Okay.
It was kind of a fascinating story because eucalyptus was thought to cure malaria. And they were finding that even though
How
malaria
wrong were they?
was really prevalent in ancient Rome or
Okay.
this time in Rome, that people weren't getting malaria around here, and they wondered what it was. And it turns out eucalyptus isn't a malaria repellent, but it is a plant that sucks up a lot of water. It requires a lot of water, so therefore there's less standing water on the property, therefore there's less mosquitoes. So they have this really historic tie to this eucalyptus that grows on their property at the Abbey, and they've been doing I guess a digestif liqueur with it for quite some time. And when they decided to open this brewery as another means to sustain their monastery, they thought, why don't we use the eucalyptus? It's what we're known for.
Wow.
So that was such a special beer to get to try for the first time,
Yeah.
and is very different than, you know, any other Trappist beer. You know, much less just the first eucalyptus beer I'd ever had.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a really interesting thing to try again because who else is doing that? No
Right.
I think that Spencer has a really cool story because they are an American Trappist brewery. They're the first American Trappist brewery in like recorded history that, you know,
Wow.
has been associated with the International Trappist Association. And they're really owning like being an American brewery who also happen to be Trappist monks. Like
Yeah.
they're doing imperial stouts and IPAs and, you know, summer session IPAs. I don't think that that's what they're calling it. I don't know that they've branded it that way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm interpreting it as. So seeing them sort of challenge the status quo. There's no real style that is Trappist, but I mean, because so many of them are rooted in Belgian traditions
Right.
or Dutch traditions, they are representative of the place that they were brewed. And because they are also tight-knit, those styles mirror each other a little bit here
Yeah.
and there. They have different little takes on things, but I mean, as we'll talk about more, Spencer's the outlier there. And they're like, we're going to do what we want. They
Yeah.
have a pilot program. They have a
Oh.
sensory library of all these different spices that they update, and all their brewing staff is familiar with the smells of that, and they use that to inform anything that they put on the pilot system.
Wow.
Super, super innovative stuff. Especially in the context of Trappist.
Right.
And that's a really interesting
That is
split.
fascinating. I don't know what the
Yeah.
process to become a monk is. I'm Catholic, but wasn't interested in that line of work.
Yeah.
But I wonder if like landing the brewing gig is probably like at the top of the list. You know?
That's what we kept wanting to know, and
Yeah.
they're just so austere and humble. We weren't really
Yeah.
getting that out of them. We
Yeah.
wanted to hear that.
Yeah.
That being the brewer was the coolest job at the monastery
Yeah.
thing. But as they say, they brew to live, they don't live to brew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Yeah.
I'll give it to them, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
A lot of our interviews
no
with them were like,
monks.
There's no Shotgun Friday at the
The
at the brewery, I guess.
They didn't share that with us, but they knew we were recording, so maybe that's the difference.
That's awesome. Awesome. So I know you guys wrote tasting notes, right, for the
Yes.
beers. How difficult is that to put down and write down in words like that how you felt about the beers? You probably do it already, right, with the blog?
I think it's hard just to not be repetitive. You know,
Yeah.
it's like what else can we say about a triple? You know, but they are distinct, and obviously we talk about the history and what makes each one special. They are all different, but
Yeah.
for me, I was like, I just don't want to keep saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Took a lot of, comparison. Having several bottles of triple
All
open,
together.
being
There you go.
Yeah.
What's this one like? Okay, all right. And how about this one now?
Yeah.
Yeah, even though the tasting notes are pretty brief, I think they are a good representation of how we personally tasted them in our personal
Yeah.
notes, but also how the breweries want those beers to be portrayed. Because, as writing this book, we have, I think, a responsibility to
Right.
portray them accurately, but also to portray them how the brewery, as intended by the brewer.
Right.
So it's a mix of our own vocabulary, but with the tasting notes that they're going for, that luckily they achieve because they're great beers.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this is so exciting. I'm so glad that you guys could come and sit with me at the
Yes.
table and we could talk about the book. Let's let people know where they can find it. So you guys, I know you guys have a website, right?
Yeah, you can learn a lot more about the book at www.trappistbeertravels.com. And the book, we are doing signed copies that you can order and we'll ship out to you on the website. So that's nice. We're doing some tour stuff. We're going to be in Chicago in July, and then we
Okay.
have some East Coast dates TBD for later in the year. But in general, you can find the book. Signed books on our website, and then you can find it hopefully at your local independent bookstore, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, really,
Anywhere you can
where-
buy books.
Where books are sold.
That's pretty exciting. All right, great. Well, we're going to take a short break, do a little commercial break. When we come back, we're going to try some of these amazing
Yes,
beers.
let's
Sound
do
good?
it.
All
So
right.
excited.
Are you looking to spice things up in the bedroom? Been fantasizing about surprising your lover with an adventurous new toy or adult movie? Well, here's an offer you won't be able to resist. Go to adamandeve.com, and for a limited time only, you'll receive 50% off just about any item. But that's not all. Oh no. When you select your one item at 50% off, you'll also receive 3 free adult DVDs for a little inspiration. Plus a free extra gift so sensual, I can't even mention it on this show. And to top it all off, they'll even throw in free shipping on your entire order. And no, they are not kidding. So check out adamandeve.com today for this special offer. Get 50% off one item when you type Crafty for the offer code upon checkout. When you do, you'll get 3 free DVDs, a free extra gift, and free shipping. Just use offer code Crafty at adamandeve.com. That's CRAFTY at adamandeve.com.
And welcome to another week with Beer with Blake, beer news on the She's Crafty podcast. Today, I want to talk about something that's been getting a little bit of traction in the news circles around craft beer. And that is the Brewers Association has decided that there is now a new logo that defines craft beer. As if the multiple paragraph definition of craft beer being owned by independents, no more than 20-25% ownership by bigger brands, the barrel cap, which we also call the Sam Adams or Sierra Nevada rule. Barrel cap conveniently gets pushed up every time that Sam Adams and Sierra Nevada increase their capacity. But now we have a new symbol that the Brewers Association has decided that it's not going to be mandated, but that 5,000 breweries across the entire United States should adopt this symbol. And this symbol in and of itself, along with a marketing campaign paid for with marketing dollars from each of these small breweries, is going to convince craft consumers to drink independent beer and to drink craft beer. And this logo that's basically the size of 2 postage stamps is going to sway the buying decisions of individuals when they're in the grocery store aisles, in the liquor store aisles, and they're looking at different beers. I see just a couple of problems with this. They're going on both sides. The Brewers Association thinks that it's great. Some breweries are already on board with it. And, of course, then you have the rebuttal. AB InBev breweries put out a video rebuttal to it earlier in the week, late last week, basically saying that the enemy is not AB InBev and the big beer brands destroying craft beer, but the enemy is the wine and spirits industry. Well, everybody's right and everybody's wrong. But I want to talk about why this new symbol is maybe not the best idea. As craft breweries transition more into cans, as we see breweries at the head front of technology and the head front of the trend and sustainability, breweries like Oscar Blues with Dale's Pale Ale, the first craft beer to be put into a can in the nation. Southern Star Brewing out of Conroe, Texas, the first Texas craft brewery to be putting craft beer in a can. These two breweries started it, and now we have breweries all across the nation that are putting beer into a can. The beer's better. The cans are better for the beer. So what does this have to do with the new Brewers Association symbol? Easy. The new symbol is an upside-down bottle. It's incoherent, the wording is vague, and it's spread out. I encourage you to go Google the new Brewers Association craft beer logo. It's something else. I don't know what kind of design firm came up with this thing, but it doesn't really do a great job of getting the message across. And I sure hope that in the coming weeks they rethink this. So, let's talk about some other issues. Aside from the fact that countless breweries are canning their beer, and it's a slap in their face to ask them to put a bottle on their cans as a symbol of camaraderie and a symbol of cohesiveness. Let's talk about the dollars involved. When you're buying cans and bottles, when you're putting a new logo out and you're having to get Trade Bureau approval, State Alcohol Board approval, every time you change the design, you have to resubmit. Every time you have to pay that fee. And when you're having to buy 100,000 cans at a time, it doesn't make financial sense to be changing the logo all willy-nilly and adding different things to your beer. So let's just say it takes a marketing firm for the individual brewery $500 to add this into all the artwork, because it has to be vector format, it has to be able to shrink it and enlarge it, so on and so forth. Times how many different brands does your favorite brewery put out? When you go to the grocery store, how many different varieties of Southern Star do you see? How many different varieties of Alamo? My local HEB, this little podunk HEB, still carries 4 to 5 different varieties of Alamo. So multiply out those marketing dollars, and quickly you can see where the problem arises. So I encourage you to do some reading, look at both sides of the argument, look at the AB InBev rebuttal, look at the Brewers Association press release, look at what Dogfish Head is saying, and as always, be sure to check out www.bsp.com beerwithblake.com. And also follow the Facebook page. Let me know that y'all are actually listening to me over here. Facebook.com/beerwithblake. Thank you again, and y'all have a wonderful week. I look forward to talking with you next week. Have a great beer. Prost.
Are you looking for a safe way to explore craft beer in our area? Well, look no further. Craft Cruiser is here to save the summer and cart you and your friends all over San Antonio and the Hill Country. From local craft beer bars to the best breweries around, Craft Cruiser is the premier brewery tour in town. It's a family-owned business with a passion for great craft beer. Buy single tickets or check out their group packages for bachelor and bachelorette parties, company outings, and much, much more. Don't drink and drive, just drink and cruise with Craft Cruiser. For more information, go to their website, sacraftcruiser.com. Those of you that listen to this show know that I am madly in love with the Alamo City. So it is no surprise that some of my favorite beers come from Freetail Brewing, the unofficial beer of San Antonio. They make damn good food and damn good beer. So hang with the local and check out Freetail Brewing. For more information, go to their website, freetailbrewing.com.
Okay, we're back. Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello again.
Hello. Okay, so we're ready to drink some beer, right?
Oh my God, yes.
Let's drink some bitch beer.
Yes.
Let's do it. So tell me, okay, what is this first one that we're gonna try here?
Yeah. So this is Orval,
Okay.
one of the oldest of the Trappist abbeys, located in Belgium, in the south of Belgium. And this is a pretty unique Trappist beer. It has Brettanomyces. It's kind of a genre-bending beer. Depending on who you ask, it's a Belgian pale ale. It's a table beer. It's
Okay.
But its history is really informed by the history of the brewers that worked there. They had a German brewer, and it has some interesting German hops in it. It's dry hopped, which is interesting for
And unusual, yeah.
some candy
for Trappist
sugar.
beer. It's a good one to start. It's one of the lightest and lowest alcohols of the Trappist beers.
Okay. Well, that definitely will start small
Oh, yeah.
and get
My
bigger.
favorite part
We're
about
gonna
this
get-
is that proprietary bottle. Beautiful and designed like, I don't know, it's really beautiful.
It is. I remarked on that earlier with Pedro, the owner of Hobby Monk,
Yes.
that the bottles are so gorgeous.
And it's designed with that like large bottom and skinny top.
Yeah,
so
they're
it'll
beautiful.
like hold the dregs as you pour.
I love it.
Hold there. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should do maybe we'll do a clean taste and save the dregs, and then we can
Sure.
pour them in and taste it.
Absolutely.
Sorry, you took my beer.
What's that?
You took my beer.
Did you drink it already? She was going to put some more in there.
Oh, no.
We got a cat fight at the end of this.
Oh.
You took my beer.
Like,
What the?
I do like that you're like, you took my beer. Give it back.
That's mine. That's my beer. I like that. I like this girl.
All right. And then
Jessica, you waved it right. You didn't want any more.
Yeah. Jessica, you get what you
I
got.
just thought that you didn't see it. Sorry.
You can't backtrack now. I've seen your true colors.
It's beautiful. The color is really pretty on this.
Yes.
Like amazing head retention, right?
You're golden.
Oh, it's very good. It's a little. It's kind of effervescent in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So-
get some really nice like stone fruit right off the nose.
This beer is the sole commercial output of the brewery, which is really unique. That
Okay.
commercially, this brewery only makes one beer, and
Okay.
they have a second beer. It's called Petit Orval or Green Orval, and that's a beer that was traditionally only for the monks to drink. A Pater's beer, they call it.
Okay.
But you can go to the cafe, the restaurant on site at the Abbey.
What is the
and
difference
try.
between the two?
That one's lower alcohol.
Oh, it's lower
basically, it's like
alcohol,
a Orval light.
Okay.
Petit Orval, little Orval.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like it. Well, this is delicious.
Yeah,
you could
it's
just
nice,
drink this
right?
all day.
Oh yeah, you get that nice little dry hop
Yeah.
bitterness
Yeah.
at the finish. Really dries it out and like rounds it. Maybe just a tiny bit of candied lemon peel in there.
So good.
My first exposure to this beer was from some friends, older, wiser craft beer drinking friends many years ago, who talked about this as just one of their favorite, most perfect food beers. You know, it just
Oh.
pairs with
Yeah.
anything.
Everything?
And I always think about that now when I drink
Yeah.
it. It's just such a versatile pairing beer.
Think
Yeah.
how differently you'd think of it if they were like, all the women like this one.
Yeah, I know. All the lady beers.
Yeah.
Well, that is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
A big like tenet of the Trappist way of life is contemplation.
Okay.
And so I always find myself really like taking my time with this.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking it in.
We're lucky enough to get this one in Texas, only in bottles,
Yeah.
obviously. We don't get draft of
Yeah.
this in Texas, but that's really nice.
And I don't think there's nothing, we can't get any of it on draft, right? Is that correct?
Chimay does some draft.
Okay.
La Trappe does some draft. And Spencer does some draft, but we don't get Spencer here in Texas.
Right.
So, yeah,
so
typically.
we could find it in draft around town or around Texas or just at the brewery.
Yeah, just at the
Okay.
brewery, really, you're going to find kegs. That's only in Belgium. You know what I
Okay.
mean? We don't get American.
Yeah.
kegs,
Yeah. That's fine.
Rochefort is always bottled. I know, like even like in the town. they're, like,
But yeah, so
never on
generally in Texas, if you're going to find Trappist beer on tap, it's going to be Chimay or La
Okay.
Trappe.
Yeah.
And those are just bigger productions.
Right.
They,
Yeah.
Been exporting the U.S. longer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the bottles are beautiful, so get some bottles.
Part of the whole experience. Trappist
Yeah.
breweries, most of them have these signature, patent bottles. So if you look at all the bottles are a little different. They're,
Yep.
they recycle at most of these monasteries, all the European ones certainly.
Okay.
So the
Yep.
bottles, come back in a recycling program.
Right.
And at these larger ones, they'll sort to make sure they get the correct bottles back. If someone turns some random beer bottle from some other brewery and they crate them up, ship
crate
them
'em.
back to that brewery.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a lot more environmentally
friendly.
conscious. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Do y'all want to try another pour and we'll get
Yeah,
the
let's
dregs
do
in
it.
there?
Please.
A yeasty pour.
I don't want to fight anymore.
This one's yours.
Just going to take you down there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I know it feels like we're not drinking a lot, but I've done a lot of these, and I will get drunk off of 3 little tasters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They add up.
So yeah, it'll be
They
interesting
add
to-
up. That's right.
These are not small beers. Like,
No,
No.
Orval is drinkable and
Yeah.
like it is a little more sessionable comparatively.
Right.
It's a cool 6.9.
which still is not. That's nothing to sneeze at.
yeah.
Yeah.
2, 3, and then yeah.
Hey, you don't tell me how many I can drink. I'll take that.
Step off.
I'm
Step
the
off.
boss of me. All right, so we have this now yeastier pour.
I like the yeast at
Me
the bottom.
too.
Yeah.
Has a lot of character.
It does.
Yeah, amps up the flavor, dulls down the effervescence just a little bit. I mean, the bottle has been open for a few minutes.
I
Right.
like it's a little chewier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear.
Toothier.
Like that.
Both good descriptors.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, friends.
Well done, beer book people.
It's like we have done this before.
Like you know what you're talking about.
For adjectives like these, by the book.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So good.
That's my lipstick.
Okay.
Don't touch
I will
that.
I love how territorial you guys are
mine too.
over
Oh yeah.
your stuff.
My things and
I
then
like
her
it.
things.
Yeah.
Did you share clothes on the trip? Did you swap sunglasses?
A little
We
bit.
shared-
I lost a lot of cardigans.
Bro-
on the trip.
I
You
mean,
did.
I do
You
that
had a
every
weird
day.
thing
And
losing
then
cardigans.
I just left them everywhere.
Yeah, I do that too.
And I have a big tattoo, and so I had to have it covered everywhere we went.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And I kept losing
You
cardigans.
heathen.
Yeah.
This book was really interesting because I mean, like, we are 3 young secular American women,
Right,
but
right.
we're writing about. I mean, these austere monks, and
Yeah.
there is a sense of reverence that we have to have with the book, and
Right.
like how we talk to them, how we talk about it. It was
Right.
totally the whole manuscript was reviewed by the ITA to make sure that everything was accurate and everything was in line. But I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on a girl, right?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even be allowed in there, so I commend you for going. I love it.
The roofs didn't fall on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
We had one monk who kind of took us aback. I wouldn't call us bashful people by nature, but he said, I Googled you guys.
Oh gosh.
I've read about this bitch beer. Please tell me more. And we're like,
You're saying it's beer for dogs.
Not expecting that.
Your dog doesn't drink beer? What?
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Fun
I get that.
fact, bitch beer does not translate the way that you'd think it does.
Ooh, yeah. I get that with my family just from the podcast. I had a family event the other day, and my aunt was like, "So, you have a mouth like a sailor." I didn't know that, and I was like, "That's not me, though." So,
It's not me.
Well, that's my on-air personality.
yeah, I don't know who that person is. Can't even prove that. Okay, you guys want to try the next one?
Yeah.
Let's move down the table.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me give you my my keychain can opener or bottle opener.
Hey, Witchcraft, Austin.
We all
Yeah.
have a keychain bottle opener. You have to have a keychain bottle opener. Otherwise, how do you like subtly do it at the
How
office?
do you?
Like,
I do it at the office too.
Do you want to pour this?
So, did you guys find that any of the monks or the people that you ran into were surprised that there were 3 women writing a book about beer?
So they'd had a little bit of time to like
Process
do
it.
some reconnaissance and understand who we are.
Okay.
And if they were surprised that we were women or we were like as young as we were, whatever the case may be, they were fairly polite in hiding that surprise.
Okay.
One nice thing we were told at West Valletta, and the same monk who had Googled bitch beer, he told us that they were starting to see more and more women come in their tasting rooms, which is
good.
interesting. Yeah, it's kind of neat.
That's
You think
exciting.
about beer in Belgium's just been such an integral part of culture for so long. You'd
Yeah.
think that'd probably already be a pretty balanced space. But then you
Right.
think about it, it's like, well, they do see a lot of tourists from all over the world, so that means their clientele from all over the world are starting to see a shift for more women,
Right.
being interested in it. So that was really cool to have this
That is cool.
this talk about women in craft beer with
Yeah.
a with a monk in Belgium.
Yeah. So, how do you guys feel about the climate of craft beer and women? Do you have?
I feel like it's changed a lot. It's
Right.
evolved in recent years, and I think for the better, personally.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the Brewers Association of America, it's not the Brewers Association,
Right.
it's just the Brewers Association, standing up and saying, if you're doing something like tasteless and crass and maybe
Right.
a little sexist,
Yeah, we're not
We
gonna.
don't-
We're not doing it.
we're not going to
Yeah.
stand behind that and
Yeah.
like give you a gold medal for
Right. For being a
You're-
dick.
yeah. You're
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even just since we started Bitch Beer in 2012, I think the amount of women we see out at beer spaces is just the gender balance has really come a lot closer.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking around where we are today, and it's almost 50-50, and,
Yeah.
and
Totally.
that's huge. I mean, we literally started Bitch Beer because we were at a brewery together on a brewery tour, and we noticed we were the only table of women.
Yeah.
We saw 1 or 2 other
Yeah.
women there with their boyfriends or with husbands,
Right.
and we're looking around at just table after table of all men.
Yeah.
And to look around today and see every table here is mixed genders is super cool.
Yeah,
and,
it's
so
really
there's
exciting.
still a long way to go with especially women working in the industry
Right.
and,
Totally.
and balancing those numbers out. But the change in just a few short years has been pretty
I
exciting.
think it's
to
been
watch.
remarkable.
Yeah.
I know that for me, when we started the podcast, it wasn't necessarily supposed to be about girls drinking beer. It's called She's Crafty, but it's just because I have a vagina. Like, it's not. It wasn't specifically about women drinking beer.
It's just a fact.
It's just how it is. This is
wanna
how
be
I
forthcoming
just
about who you
radiate
are.
that way.
Yeah.
But I noticed over time that it was becoming more and more about women and craft beer because women were so excited to have something to listen to that was made by women
Right.
drinking beer. And it took us a little bit of time to be like, oh, hello. You don't realize it. I think that when you live in a culture or you're part of something for so long, you tend to forget, I guess, that there's so many dudes around, I guess. But then I was like, you know what? We did just go to that bottle share and it was like all sausage everywhere.
Yeah.
That just dawned on me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every piece of advertising that you see about beer is like some dude with a whole bunch of babes.
Right. Yeah.
Why can't those babes just be enjoying that beer too?
Right. Why do they?
Let the
Why do
babes
they
drink.
No,
Yeah.
they're carrying the very cold can.
Let that girl put on a cardigan for Christ's sake and enjoy her beer.
Cover her tattoo.
Cover that. Yeah.
So cold it's turning blue. Cover her chlorine.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I always feel conflicted because, like, we are women writing out beer or making podcasts about beer.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, like you were saying, you didn't start it as, because I am a woman and it's a novel, like,
Right.
it's like we want to just
Yeah.
be voices just like anybody else, you
Right.
know? So it's like, sometimes things come up and like, why do we always have to be pink,
Right.
Sure.
There's a lot of stuff that I take some issues with, but I'm also
Yeah.
glad that it's just becoming more normalized, I guess.
Yeah.
We were talking recently about the beer called Shoes. Or no, we were making up a thing. It was a story. That was just a real beer.
No, there was a real one though that was
Has
like,
this whole thing been a story? It's all lies.
We printed these before. That's why they're so beautiful.
There's only these two books and nothing else.
we made really meticulous mock-ups.
It's a really expensive Kinko's run.
There was that one that was like they were all shoe themed beers. You remember
I
this?
surely couldn't have made this.
No,
all
because I
up.
know, and like the font, it was Curls font.
Oh, Curls
Yeah.
MT.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, this is a real thing.
I've
don't
seen.
remember
I
who
know
did it.
there.
Thank you
I'm not
for
going to call
corroborating.
anybody out, but there is
like
a
Stiletto
woman-led
Lager.
brewery that has it's named after women's shoes.
Yeah, and I mean,
Which
I don't
is
think it was
fine.
That's totally fine.
Which
yeah,
is
like,
fine.
If that's the way you get into it, absolutely,
Yeah.
that's cool. But like, I don't think that should be it when it comes
Right.
to women in beer.
Right.
You know, like it's
Yeah.
a way broader world
Right.
out there.
Yeah.
If that's your entry point, hell yes, drink that beer.
Yes, but at the same token, I also don't think that like we should have to shop for labels that have like gross stuff on them.
Maybe
or,
we
like,
don't always
Yeah.
want to be carrying the torch for all women everywhere.
No,
Maybe
I'm
we just
right
wanna
there
be
with you. I know.
ourselves. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'll
No.
fail for myself. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. Let's all fail together.
Or I'll fail for all of us.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so what is this?
Oh,
What is the second? By the way, we're drinking beer. What is the second beer?
If you couldn't tell from our babbling about shoes and torches. So this is Westmala's Triple. And
Ooh.
they make 2 beers at Westmala.
They do?
The Triple, which we'll have, and the Double, which we'll have next.
Yep.
Where do you stand on the
This is
Triple
really
Triple Double Debel?
I don't. Let me just tell you, when it comes to pronunciation of things, I don't care.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not like, the only thing I care about is when people have really, really strong political stances on Facebook and they spell things wrong or grammatically incorrect.
Uh-huh.
Then I might say, you have terrible grammar.
Yes.
Your point is invalid.
Right. I can't even believe anything you're saying. But when it comes to pronouncing like styles of beer, I don't care. Yeah.
It's a real polarizing one, the Triple Triple.
Yeah,
I've
it
always
is.
been team Triple. I'm American. I'll just say Triple so I don't sound like I'm putting on a
Right.
fake
Putting on
accent.
airs.
Yes.
Yeah, putting on airs, but yeah.
I'll own.
Are you
I
a
have
stickler?
gotten a little bit. No, I'm not a stickler.
Oh, okay.
For double Dubel.
I think Caroline's a triple and Sarah's a triple.
I'm an unfortunate triple.
I know. Just like that says
Because it
everything.
just sounds more.
I feel.
I'm a
especially
croissant, and Sarah's a croissant.
My 9-year-old son says it like that, and I'm like, this is real embarrassing.
now,
Let's
You know,
not. We're not French, so let's not do that. Okay.
I do. The canned bottle or the canned sparkling water.
Yeah.
La Croix.
Are you a LaCroix or a
I know
LaCroix?
their
I
website.
am
It is pronounced
insufferable.
LaCroix.
No,
I know.
It's not.
It is
Oh.
spelled out on their website.
Well, then
I
I'm
know.
just insufferable and wrong as well.
My boyfriend had to show that to me because it was a rare deviation for me that I was trying on LaCroix for
Yeah.
a while, and
It feels good,
proven
right?
wrong. Yeah, it feels good.
Come over to this dark, pretentious ass
That's
side.
awesome. I like it. I like it.
But because, so we went there and we heard them talk about these things in their native language. And I try to be true to that, but it is so pretentious for me to be like, Zundert,
Yeah. Take it to that next level.
Westmala.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
but very authentic. I'm trying to bring it back home.
I like it though. That's okay. You do you, girl.
But obviously, I think you can taste. This is also, for anyone who's familiar with triples or tripels, that they're lighter in color, right? Even though it's going to be a higher alcohol bump from that Orval, 9.5%.
It tends to be one of my more. I gravitate towards the style of beer for some
Yeah,
reason.
they're complex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Estery.
Mm-hmm.
This has some really nice fruit characteristics.
It
But yeah,
does.
a lot of like pepper and ester.
Mm-hmm.
Like many Trappist beers, this goes through a second re-fermentation in the bottle, which is why there's so much sediment at the bottom of it. So we'll probably go through. Well, I think we're going to go through the same sort of practice of
Okay.
drinking it clear, then drinking the dregs.
All right.
Sorry, I sneaked a seconds.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
That's why I needed to call it out and be like, "Yo."
Oh, I guess we're taking seconds now.
For the listeners.
Very concerned about making things even.
I can tell you. My kids are like that with their chocolate milk. It's gotta be all even.
That's us.
Yeah.
This is why we were like, each one of us will pour 4 tasters.
Right.
And that is all
then-
we'll get.
That's awesome.
No more. If someone pours 2 beers, we're going to fight the whole way home.
I like
There's
that.
Westmala has a cafe across the street
Oh.
you can go visit, and they have some little snacks and cheeses, and they pour
Nice.
these 2 beers. But what's a famous thing they do there that I don't know how many other places in the world will do, but they'll blend the 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, a
Third
small,
shadow
50,
beer.
50.
I like that.
Black and tan, if you will.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Were there any food at the Trappist breweries at all, or no?
Sorry?
Food?
At the breweries?
Did you have
Yeah, so
anything they serve?
I guess it's good to say that no Trappist breweries, with the exception of La Trappe, offer like regular public tours.
Okay.
So that was a big part of this book and why it was so special to get this kind of access and
Okay.
get to interview the monks and do these tours. But what the public can visit is almost all of them have some kind of gift shop and or cafe.
Okay.
And so We did, ate it. Everyone with the cafe we ate and
Okay.
drank at, and we also ate at the Abbey at Rochefort when we stayed in the guest house.
Okay.
We were served a couple meals there.
Nice.
So.
Took a tour of the Chimay Cheese Factory.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Pretty
my
amazing.
favorite thing.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
so good. But I mean, we had to be pristine. So we had like a whole getup of
Plastic,
scrubs.
yeah.
We had to stand.
Oh,
in the
really? Oh,
things
because
to,
of the
like,
cheese
wash our
making.
feet.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
I kept
make
not.
sure
There was
that we
like this
weren't-
weird test you had to do it would say if you were clean enough, and I kept failing.
What?
Just not
Finally,
clean
like,
enough.
I
Walk me through this
And then they
test.
felt really bad for me, so they just let me in.
Is it like a wand, or they
No, it
they
was
hit
like
you
a
with a
hands-
white
I
glove?
think you sanitize your hands and then put them in this little like sensor, and I kept failing it.
There was
Oh.
a thing that scrubbed the
Where
sides
have your
of
hands
shoes.
been?
I don't know. I know.
Oh my gosh.
We were theorizing that maybe it was because Jessica's left-handed, and so maybe she was entering, putting her hands in a way that
Uh-huh.
the sensor, was different than most
Okay.
people
Just
put their
trying to
hands
make
in the
you feel
sensor.
better.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's just bizarre.
but they let you in eventually,
They
right?
eventually just feel bad.
Were you
we
just
couldn't
like,
just leave her there
at
at
one
the
point I would have been like, it's
sensor.
obviously your sanitizer and not me.
Clearly not me.
Yeah.
It's not that
Where
we've
did
been
this
sharing,
sanitizer come
And
from?
I don't know
though?
what like
hotel
5
room in one
passes with
bathroom.
that sanitizer did to my skin. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're still here, so I guess.
anyway, yeah,
You
their
still have
chee-
your
their
hands.
cheese is very clean.
Their
and
cheese is
delicious.
very
Yeah.
clean.
That makes it sound slightly less delicious when you say that it's really clean, but I can
Many
see
of
that.
them washed in beer.
Yeah.
Which is
Yes,
great.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. So
and
they-
aged at varying lengths.
Nice.
And then washed again.
Every
They-
room we
I
went
mean,
through, and they
like-
were like 3 months, and then they're like 1 year. Like it just kept getting better
Wow.
and better.
The aroma was more pungent, but in a
Yeah.
delicious
Oh my
way.
gosh. I
Every
love that.
room.
Real barnyardy.
Knowing now how great that experience was, I would have been real mad if they're like, "You're not clean enough. You have to stay
Yeah.
out.
Yes. Can't be close to my cheese.
You can't be close to this cheese."
That's awesome. They sell the cheese as part of is that part of their income as well, the cheese?
Yeah.
Or they're just hoarding all that cheese and eating it?
Yeah. Takes a lot of cheese to
Just
make a
nachos
monastery.
every night at the
Yes.
monastery.
That's a big part of why the monks started brewing, is they have these vocations to sustain the needs of the monastery. So you'll see Trappist abbeys all over the world have a variety of different trades. Even some of the ones that do beer, they also do cheese or
Right.
jellies or, just other interesting things. Spencer does like liturgical garments.
Oh, that's
They make garments for the other monks all over around the world.
Oh.
For those playing at home who don't know what
I
liturgical
don't know what that is,
Oh,
but
liturgical.
it sounds like monkish surgical clothing.
Yeah. We'll say it slowly. Liturgical.
Liturgical.
Because it's just such a fun word.
So is it?
It
It's
is a
like
fun word.
their robes and
Yeah,
their
Yeah.
exactly. So
But I mean, use it however you feel fit. Some conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No one's gonna call you on that. Like not.
They're gonna pretend like they know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. That's one of those of like, oh.
Yeah.
But now you know. All right.
Okay.
Lovely.
The dregs. And a lot of foam. Sorry,
That's
Caroline.
all right.
That I'm like, it's just a bunch of foam in Caroline's glass.
Makes it
now.
more of a party.
That one's yours. This one's Catherine's. I don't know which one is yours,
I don't
Jessica.
care.
I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
I'm definitely drinking from your glass.
But now I know that your hands are filthy too. So do I want your glass?
Oh, you knew that.
I did. All right, dredgy. Let's see how this goes.
That's delicious.
yeah, you get a lot more yeast character now, right?
I like that.
I get a little bit of sugar too.
Mm-hmm.
And it might just be this
It's a
bottle
little
hasn't
sweetness.
worked off quite all of its sugars, which would be a little surprising seeing how far it has to come. Yeah, it's a sweet experience.
really
A little
sweet.
bubble gum.
Yeah. Like this beer's hype man.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like how we're talking about the beer and they've got like this jazzy music in the background. And it's like
It's a really balmy night. The sun's going down. We're still all cool.
having a
enough to be wearing
romantic night with the
sunglasses.
She's Crafty podcast and the Trappist Beer Travels, guys.
Should we all drop
Come
this,
get you some.
sultry tones?
Oh
Yeah.
You're on Love Line.
Hello. Call us with your
Never mind.
questions.
Never mind. Someone should bring out some candles.
Nailed it with the sultry tones.
I was like,
We could do
I'm
that.
not gonna
We could
say
get some
that.
candles. You want some candles? I could just set up this whole thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. We could either be romantic or some kind of sacrifice killing.
Right.
But either way,
We do have a lot of black going on.
either way, it's a
Little
show,
seance.
and that's all that matters. I'm in head to toe black just because I had
Oh,
a
yeah.
baby. That's why. Just trying to camouflage everything. They don't
We didn't have
make
babies. Black is just so flattering.
they don't make pants stretchy enough anymore. I noticed. All right, let's move on to
Great.
because you're like, okay, Catherine. Let's move on to the last
I'm
one.
just downing the beer.
I got that move on signal.
Yeah, let's just keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Keeping us wrangled. Oh, it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Not very well.
You're doing fine. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Ooh, look at this beautiful
Pass it
beer.
on down.
Yeah. Obviously, we're going to the malty side.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me about this one. What is this one?
It's our Westmalle double.
Okay.
Is that my job? Yeah. Sorry.
Did you see us staring at you?
Yeah, I
As
did.
the pourer of the beer.
I don't know if you know, but like everyone just stared at me. We just poured the Westmalle double. Beautiful brown, malty, chocolatey
Yeah.
color.
There's a notable like savory aroma to this.
Yeah, like not smoky, but
No.
Like a little anise kind of.
Yeah. Some like herbaceous things happening, and then also, I don't know. I'm the only one of the writers who eats meat, so maybe only I
What?
can. Yes, we have 2
Oh,
vegetarians.
good for you guys.
And then me. Which makes me just feel like a murderer all the time.
Yeah, I can
That's
see that.
fine. I make up for it with other charitable good acts. Like, that's my
But I
way of
think
getting around.
what you were gonna say is
There are some meaty things,
notes to
yeah,
this.
a little like Worcestershire almost, but in a good way. Some like soy things.
Umami.
Umami, yeah.
I don't know if it's that I'm watching this guy across the patio smoke this like giant stogie, but
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit of a tobacco note.
all right, I think it could be wafting in from the ground. I'm tasting jazz.
Talk
I don't
about
know.
what a,
It's
like
weird.
boss move that is though.
Solo with a giant
Yeah,
cigar.
I like it. That he's got it going on.
He does, yeah.
Have you guys ever, are you cigar smokers at all?
I'm not a cigar smoker.
I can't do it.
I've tried. I'm one of those embarrassing people that like did it and then was like, ooh.
Yeah. It's so heavy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not one of the guys.
I don't think, that doesn't seem like it would be that much fun to me. I saw this whole thing about how guys are getting upset about the Wonder Woman screening at the Alamo Draft House, and I was like, you could have as many dude screenings of whatever you want to, and nobody's gonna give a shit.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
loved
not
this.
gonna fight you on that.
Yeah, watch Captain America with a bunch of guys as much as you want to, and nobody's gonna get upset. I
Whatever
promise.
you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I'm begging you to do that
Please.
because I don't want to go.
Yeah. I mean,
That like A+ like clap back from the Alamo Draft House when they
I
asked,
know.
"Have you ever had a male only screening?" They said we did screen the Entourage movie. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who's handling that social media.
It was
but
awesome.
It was so
It was
good.
good, yeah.
That whole day I did not leave Facebook.
Yeah.
and then our mayor. Did you see the Austin mayor had an
Yep.
amazing response
No.
to like
this
a
man
crazy
wrote this
sexist
whole-
letter.
Oh. About how no women have invented. The mayor did not say this. The
Yeah.
original letter was, "I can't believe that the city of Austin is supporting this. This is, I mean,
Private
like,
business.
can we talk about has there been any woman who's ever invented anything worth value, let alone been a superhero?
Yeah.
Like, give them what they want because they're
Oh
gonna
my
cry about it if you don't. But I'm
Yeah.
never gonna go to Austin.
Yeah, boycott
Yeah.
Austin, and our
don't
mayor
want
wrote
you.
the best thing back, like, "Sir, it appears your identity must have been stolen because surely."
Surely you cannot be this person,
It's crazy.
this abhorrent person.
And then he
It's
just
so
lists
nuts to me.
all of these
He's
contributions
like,
by female
surely you would
inventors,
know
of course.
that women invented all of these things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. What are you gonna do?
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get real mad, but then I mean,
I'm gonna get
finish
real
this.
mad for 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna be like, I think Orange is the New Black started.
Oh, yeah, right?
And then we can all remember that we wrote and published a book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We'll
Exactly.
be fine.
Yeah. That's right. What did he do? He wrote a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was delicious.
Nice, right?
I love that. I love
could
that
drink this
progression
all
that we
day.
took. That little
Yeah.
journey we took too was really good. For the
One
three
of
beers.
I think one of the key reasons we wrote this book and why these beers still taste so special is a lot of these were some of the first, import beers to America that challenged palates. They weren't just export lagers
Right.
or homemade, American light lagers.
Yeah.
And for as much as craft beer's taken off with over 6,000 breweries in the U.S. and all of these, style-bending flavors and influences from all around the world, it's just really cool to go back to these extremely well-crafted, influential beers that we've, I think a lot of beer drinkers almost take for granted a little in this
Yeah.
search of what's new, what's hot, what's exciting. And these
Right.
just beers always hold up and they always deliver.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
cool.
I love it. Well, ladies, thank you so much for being part of my show. Thank you for being on the season premiere, which is
Yes.
super exciting.
Super honored.
Thank you so much for hosting us. We've had a really great time.
Anytime you guys want to come back and have a chat with me, just let me know because I'm always around and I like to, this is what I do. So we
Yes.
can always sit down and talk about beer anytime you want to. Let's tell people one more time where they can go to get the book.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Caroline.
The book's Trappist Beer Travels, and you can go to www.trappistbeertravels.com to learn more or find it at your local bookstore.
Perfect. And then if people want to follow you guys on social media, where do they need to go?
We're at Trappist Beer Travels on Instagram, on Facebook, Trappist Beer Travels Book, and we're only at Trappist Travels on Twitter because of that pesky character limit.
That is so stupid.
I know.
Twitter. Twitter's the worst. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The She's Crafty podcast has only one mission, and that is to dominate this planet with a love of craft beer and comedy. You can help us do that by going to iTunes and rating, reviewing, and subscribing to the She's Crafty podcast. The more people that do that, the higher our rankings will get in iTunes, and the more people will listen to us. The more people that listen to us, the more badass fucking episodes we can put out every week. So go to iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe to the She's Crafty podcast.